From Perth I head inland to Australia's only monastic town, New Norcia. A resourceful Spanish monk, Rosendo Salvado, set up the mission in 1846 after leaving Perth in the summer heat with an ox-drawn cart in search of a location to convert the local Aborigines to Catholicism. Visitors can now stay in the monastery in a retreat setup whereby all meals are provided and the opportunity exists to learn more about the Benedictine order. A Benedictine monastery aims to be self-sufficient, and despite hardships in the early years, New Norcia is now made up of 20,000 acres of farmland, which derives income from wheat, barley and canola. In its heyday in the 1870s, 70 monks made up its community. They have run their own bakery, hotel, boarding schools, and even licensed the brewing of their own ale. But these days the grand old school buildings are mainly empty, apart from visiting school excursion groups, and the order now only numbers 11 elderly monks. Benedictine monks take a vow of stability. Their days are very regimented, praying on 6 different occasions. I think of my own gypsy lifestyle and the difficulty in maintaining any kind of regular routine. As Carole King sang, "I sure hope the road don't come to own me." I used my time at the retreat to assess my own future after this trip. I was starting to worry about not having any income coming in and felt I maybe needed to cut back on my spending. At one stage I dropped the content of my pockets on the ground while preparing to do some washing, coins pinging and scattering across the floor. As I picked up all that small change, I had the realisation that if I hold on to money through a fear mindset, I have the wrong assumption that it won't come again. Instead of heading to the coast, I decided to take the inland route along the Midland Way, rolling through sleepy rural towns where people mainly work the land and the pubs still display signage of long-lost conventions. There was a chill in the afternoon air as I set up camp between the road and a railway line. That night, 2 freight trains hurtled by, rattling my fillings and waking me with a fright. That morning, the sound of Old Man Crow awakes me from my slumber. I feel very alone, but in a good way. As I ride through the countryside, I'm completely surrounded by nature and begin to appreciate the subtle habitat differences as I move through the land. This country features the striking mottled pinkish white salmon gums, and with newfound eyes I photograph the spiky orange flowers and red-tinged new growth leaves of a local wattle tree. That afternoon, while camping in a woodlot, I'm visited by a red-capped robin. I've come to cherish these free camping experiences, to just be alone in nature. I ride on to Geraldton and decide to continue free camping. With big towns this is a problem, as it means having to be right out on the periphery. I spend a very cold, sleepless night camped near a river. I wake up feeling a bit sick of it all. I seek solace from a friend online. She says, if you could be anywhere you wanted to be, do whatever you wanted to do, what would you do? Despite the hard night, I said I wouldn't change a thing. My answer surprised me. I was still toying with the idea of attaching surf racks to my bike so as to surf the epic left-handers further up the coast. I talked with a local designer about current board design and whether he knew anyone who could make the racks. In the end, I decided such a plan would be too restrictive and that the surf may not even be on when I pass through. Best to just stop in Exmouth for a time and surf the breaks there. I head on to Kalbarri and find its famous left-hander surf break as flat as a tack. I decide to go off-road into the sand country and reach the national park on dusk, the Red Rock Gorge emblazoned by the setting sun. That night I think about travel and how a good trip should really change one as a person. This trip has definitely taught me I can survive out here in nature, the thing we seem to fear so much in the West. I'd also learned to be alone, and that takes some time to get used to. I think constantly moving has helped stave off loneliness. Seeing new sights keeps the mind active. And at the end of this trip, I think I will feel a sense of accomplishment, and at the very least, now that I've learnt the art of maintaining a motorcycle to endure long-term travel.